And still, just because of the way we see these in most actual analyses, it fits in with the key signature. We don't really see this very often, this configuration. You'll see it as a dominant seventh, which we'll get to in a minute. You're just going to put the seventh there. There's nothing special that you have to do to indicate that it's major minor. It's just how it falls in the key signature. All right, so moving on. We have, now if we take this triad and suddenly make it a minor triad, just like that, okay? So that we have a minor triad with a major seventh, because we have B natural. We'll bring this back to B natural. All right, it's going to be the reverse. You've got a minor triad on the bottom, so that goes first, and then a major seventh or a major third between the two, between the fifth and the seventh, whichever way you prefer to think of it. It's going to go minor, major, which I realize is super crazy. All right, so this one's minor, major, and again, to indicate that it's now a minor triad on the bottom, you're going to have a little one, just like that. And then you're going to have a 7. And then to indicate, because generally if you've got an E flat in your chord, you're going to have a B flat in the key signature. So to indicate that this guy, the 7th, is going to be raised up, underneath that you're going to put a little natural symbol to say, oh, not B flat, B natural. All right? Now moving on. Am I running out of space? Should make it maybe. We have our chord again. And this time, we bring the B flat back. All right, so now we've got a minor third, or a minor triad with a minor seventh. All right, so minor and minor. This is going to be called minor, minor, just like so. And just gets a little set, you know, a little 1 and a 7. So, and everything else just falls in the key signature that it should have. Now next, ooh, I'm running out of space. All right, it's getting close. Let's see if I can bring this sideways a little bit. Good. All right, I might just have just enough space. All right, so if we go even smaller, right, we keep adding flats to this. Now we've got C, E flat. What else can we flat? How about G flat? And we keep our B flat. All right? This is going to turn into, so here on our bottom, we've got a diminished triad, all right? And then on the top, we actually have a minor seventh. Or you can think about it as a major seventh, or major third, sorry, between the G flat and the B flat, all right? So this is going to be diminished minor. So D and M. This is also known as half diminished. All right? And the way you're going to indicate that is you're going to have a little 1, and then you're going to make that diminished circle and slash it in half like that. And then put the 7th symbol like that. Boom. All right, and then finally, last but not least, we have a C, B flat, or E flat, G flat, and then we're going to lower the B flat, one more flat, so we've got B double flat. that there's actually a minor third between these two. And this is a very, very special chord. So here we have a diminished triad, and on top of that, a diminished seventh, okay? Or more importantly, what's most interesting about this is that it's all minor thirds, all right? So we've got C to E flat is a minor third, E flat to G flat minor third, G flat to B double flat minor third. So it's 4 minor thirds stacked on top of each other. And what it does that's super cool is it creates 2 tritones. It's 2 tritones. So tritone and tritone, both of them are stacked on top of each other, all right? And so we call this fully diminished, so diminished, diminished, all right? Or fully diminished. And the symbol is just the 1, and then the fully diminished, no slash through it, and the 7, all right? Now I'm going to play these for you so you can hear them. And we've got one more that we have to talk about. So over here, we have to have the other extreme. We've got minor thirds all stacked on top of each other. What do we call it if it's all major thirds stacked on top of each other? So here we've got C, let's see, E, G sharp, all right? And then we've got to have a B sharp up here to make this work out. All right, and so this is called augmented major. Or no, this is B natural, sorry, because this is still major 7. Okay, so here we've got our augmented chord, right? It's a major third and a major third. And then here, technically, we've got a minor third, but basically this is a augmented triad plus a major 7th. Okay, and this is going to be called augmented major, and you do the same deal. So you put the 7th here, and then you are going to add this little plus sign to indicate that it's augmented, just like you did with the diminished and half diminished. And then underneath that, you can put a little sharp to indicate that the 3rd or the 5th is going to be sharped to make it augmented. All right? So, and I'm going to play these for you so you can hear them. All right, so we'll start at augmented. Oops. So let me turn the piano off. There we go. All right. So if we start with augmented, we've got C, D sharp. So here's our augmented chord, plus our B natural, right? So that's augmented 7th. Now, if we go back to our major chord, right? And then our 7th on top, just like that. Okay, now if we move this down a half step to B flat, we get okay, so that's a major minor 7th, often called the dominant 7th because that's how it naturally appears in most key signatures. All right, if we go on to minor major, we add our, so we go to E flat, so we've got our minor triad, but we've got our major 7th. It's going to sound really crazy. All right, not used very often. Don't see this one very often. It's more like a theory assignment type thing. If we go on, minor though does show up quite often. So we've got our minor chord, and then our 7th on top. All right, this is used a lot in Impressionist music. If you know the music of Debussy or Ravel, This is just the girl with the flaxen hair, right? Right? So minor impressionist music all the time. So if we move on and we get to our half diminished, let's see. So we've got, so here's our diminished chord, right? Just like that. And then we add in the B flat. All right? Dying for some resolution. This is a favorite chord of Wagner's. This is the Rheingold chord from Das Rheingold, actually, from the Ring Cycle. So, right? So, dying for some immediate resolution. Wagner loves half diminished. And then finally, not last but not least, we have fully diminished. So we have our diminished chord, C, E flat, G, diminished. And then we add in our double B flat, which is A natural. All right, so this is the old-timey whodunit mystery radio chord, where they're like, right? Tune in next week to find out who murdered the butler. So that is, it's totally unresolved, and you can hear the tritone between C and G flat, and the tritone between E flat and B double flat. Right? So it's just two tritones stacked on top of each other. Right? And this gets used all the time because it is so malleable. It could go anywhere. All right? So when a composer wants to modulate, this is what they use, because it could transition to just about any key that it wants to. All right? So it's very easily manipulated to the key. So that sets you up for pretty much everything that you have to know, other than sort of the voice leading principles that are required for the next 3 chapters. All right? So get to know it well. If you have any questions or confusions, please contact me and ask me questions, because if you're lost, you're going to be super lost for a lot of this, which I don't want. So